Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about early spring lipless crankbait fishing. So let's get into it. Now, when I think about lakes in the early spring, and I'm talking early spring right after ice out, late winter, early spring, like late February, the lipless crankbait bite is about to go off, right? So let's look at the Barbie chain of lakes here. And there are lots of ways that I like to select the color and the style of the lipless crankbait that I'm going to fish depending on what I'm fishing, right? So the Barbie chain, if you've ever been there, has 5 bigger lakes that are interconnected by canals. And what we're talking about when we're talking about canals are these little waterways that bridge between. And I like to start my search for fish at these bridges, right? Because during the ice up season, all of these canals and interconnected waterways are going to be full of bait and full of panfish. When the ice comes off, the shad and all of these lakes pull back into these waterways to spawn, right? And they'll be piled up in there, and fish are looking for them, and they're hungry after ice out, they're ready to eat, and they're a little dumb because they haven't seen stuff going through there. It's a great time to fish a lipless crankbait, plus all the water is going to be off as well. So the first bait that I'm going to pick up during the lipless crankbait bite for me is a bluegill patterned lipless crankbait. There's a ton of different ones I like, but really I'm looking for panfish, bluegill colored panfish. The rattle trap is good. Anything that is colored like a perch or a bluegill. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the opening mouths of these channels, and I'm going to work my way back in, covering alongside the bank, covering those bends and turns where those fish are going to position. Bonus to channels, because they're going to be warmer. They're going to be 4 to 5 degrees warmer in the channels on these lakes than it's going to be on the main body. And fish are going to do that. Now, I always start at the mouth of the channel and work my way back in until I figure out where they're at. If I fish 2 channels and they're all in the first bend, I know that I'm going to target these first bends in these channels because that's where they're at. If they're all the way in the back, then they're usually all the way in the back of all of those channels. Granted, some of the channels are different. Some of them will have interconnected waterways that go through, but for the most part, channels are going to be consistent in their water temperature and consistent in where the fish are positioning. So I'm going to throw panfish colored lures at that time. Second lure I'm going to pick up when the water gets 49 to 50, I'm fishing exclusively red, right? Whether it's a rattle trap, whether it's a red eye shad, whatever it is, I'm fishing red. I'm fishing red colors, and what I'm doing there is I'm fishing big flats where bass are going to congregate before they spawn, right? Example here on Seacrest Lake. This is a huge spawning flat right here. It's protected from the north wind. It's flat, sand bottom. I'm going to hammer these flats with a lipless crankbait. All right, there's another flat down here. It's like featureless flats. For whatever reason, this time of year, featureless flats are going to hold a ton of fish. Same thing in Sawmill Lake. Featureless flats right here with a little bit of growth, a little bit of lily pads and stuff in there. Same thing over here. Featureless flats are going to hold a ton of fish this time of year. A red rattle trap is the bait to throw to target those fish. And you're throwing it over, ripping it out of emergent weeds, ripping it out of grass. From that 50 to 60 mark, red is the color to go. Then, as the water warms up, the spawn fades, those fish are going to pull off of those spawning flats, and they're going to move to deeper water, or they're going to go back into the cover, back into the docks, back in the channels. At that point, I'm going to move from red rattle traps to bait fish colored rattle traps, silvers, whites, chartreuse, and white. And I'm going to target these transition zones and lines with that lipless crankbait, right? If I'm fishing deeper, I'm fishing silver and chrome. If I'm fishing shallower, I'm fishing panfish. But there's an art to kind of separating out what lipless crankbait you want to throw in each situation. I've had a lot of success hitting a lot of fish in these areas. Early spring, it lights up on that bite. It'll hold pretty good till the spawn, and then after the spawn, you can catch them on the lipless out deep. You can catch them busting bait fish on the surface, but that bite kind of fades right in that 60 to 70 degree water. But early spring is the time to do it. We hope you guys learned something from today's video. It was a short one. We're kind of in purgatory right now in northern Indiana. We have ice, but it's not fishable, and it hasn't totally come off the lakes yet, and we sure can't get underwater right now very much to get some new footage. So in the comments, let us know what you guys want to see in the future, and we'll see you out there, guys. Give us a like, subscribe. See you next time.